Welcome back to my chronological Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe timeline rating, where I go through the Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe and rank each and every individual piece of media on a 10-point scale. Today I have Tales of the Jedi, The Golden Age of the Sith #1, which was written by Kevin J. Anderson and was published in 1996. This takes place at 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, and is a comic issue that was released by Dark Horse. I reviewed the issue number 0 last time, and so now we're getting into really the core of the story here. I do think that the art in the issue 0 was better than the art in the actual issue itself, which is interesting. I should have looked to see if the artist is different. Penciler for number 1 is Dario Carrasco Jr., and for number 0 is Chris Gossett. Well, I think that Chris Gossett then, for the issue 0, has a much better art style than in issue 1, and the colors work better in it as well. I get that Tales of the Jedi is an older comic series. I love the art in Tales of the Jedi, but the art in this particular run is not my favorite in the entire series. So we're reintroduced to Gav and Jory Daragon, who I kept wanting to call Jory and Gory and Jav for whatever reason, and they are mapping out hyperspace routes, which is extremely dangerous. They're just plugging in coordinates and trying to figure out new maps across the stars, and this is an incredibly dangerous profession because they literally have no idea what they're flying into. They could fly into a moon, an asteroid, a planet. On this excursion, they fly into this nebula, and their ship gets damaged. They have to crawl their way back to Sinagar in the Empress Teta system, which is currently called the Koros system. And Arba is there again, our favorite Hutt, who lays on his back with his belly up. And Arba is still a nice Hutt. He's trying to be reasonable, but they're in tremendous debt at this point. They had to sell their house. They had to sell all their belongings to try to keep repairing their ship. They're down on their luck. Nothing's working. Again, they are trying to repair their ship. And Arba is like, I'd like to help you guys, but I'm going broke, trying to help you guys. And then we're introduced to a businessman, a commerceman, whose name is Sisk Kahor. Sisk Kahor is a Cha'a. I believe it's a reptilian species. I believe they appear elsewhere. I don't remember where, but I think this is an EU connection because I think they appear in other stuff as well. And he has an aide named Gorm, who is this giant, big, hairy being who's his assistant. And Sisk Kahor sends his ship in past one of the hyperspace lanes that Jory and Gav have created. So Jory and Gav have managed to get a certified hyperspace route in the Hyperspace Commerce Guild, or it's called something like that, and it's basically a catalog of all the safe routes, and they mark it as dangerous, but they're still going to get paid for it. They're going to get a bonus for it because they've charted a hyperspace route that does work. However, when Sisk Kahor sends his ship across it blows up. So obviously now they've made an enemy and he wants revenge. Sisk Kahor is a very interesting character. He mentions that he ate all his hatchlings. So very interesting stuff with this character. He's quite maniacal, but now he's angry. And so he murders the guy who published Gory and Jav's, or Jory and Gav. I keep saying that. I'm just going to say the Daragorns from now on. You'll know who I'm meaning. The Daragorns hyperspace route, the findings of it were published and approved and made official by this guy, and he is killed by what's his name? By Sisk Kahor. Siskor kills them. And then there's a bit where Jory is just very down on her luck, and she's walking around in her ragged clothes, feeling sorry for herself. And she sees Empress Teta giving a speech to the people about, yeah, we've united the people, and everything's going great now. We're united. We're going to be a strong nation now. And she has with her the Jedi Knights, so that she's displaying Mehmet Nadil and Odin who were from the last issue, and she's putting them on display so everyone knows she has a good relationship with the Jedi. And the Jedi Force user Mehmet Nadil says that the people are relieved that finally Empress Teta is in control and all of the suffering is going to be over. But meanwhile, Arba and Gav are looking at repairs, and Gav goes out and about, and two thugs warn him that Siskahor is angry. Meanwhile, Siskahor is doing something really hilarious. He's eating a meal, but they're like live eggs, so they're hatching, so he's like running around trying to eat his food as they try to escape him. One of them manages to get out of a hole in the wall, and he's not able to get it, so that's fun. And Gorm mentions that they murdered the guy, and that now he sent two assassins for Gav and Jory. For the Daragorns, I don't know why I keep messing up their pronunciation. And so these two guys come for them. One of them has like a skull helmet, and one of them basically looks like a miniature Khonshu from Moon Knight. And so they are backed into the corner, and they are in a lot of trouble. They're about to be killed when... Oh, and it's also mentioned that they could have trained as Jedi Knights. It's mentioned that they had a high sensitivity to the Force, and that they could have been trained as Jedi if they wanted to, and now they're both reflecting maybe we should have taken Jedi training. But right when they're going to be killed, swooping into the rescue is Odin and Mehmet Nadil with their lightsabers that at this point are clipped to their belt. So there's a lightsaber, and it's a corded version of the cordless lightsaber later. So it's like the non-Bluetooth lightsaber because it's got a wire that straps onto a power pack on their belt. So it looks really ancient, and it's just really, really cool. And there's this great panel here, probably one of my favorite art panels. Hopefully you can see that there. It just looks so good, the art there. And so there's a battle, and Odin dispatches of one of them, which Nal reprimands him for, because, it's not the Jedi way, but Odin reflects that his species are predators by instinct, but he should have done a better job. Meanwhile, Gav and Jory escape and steal their own ship back, and they punch in coordinates at random, because what else do they have to lose? They pass by a statue of a lost navigator, because the lost hyperspace navigators who die in trying to map out hyperspace routes and what safe routes to take through hyperspace, many of them are lost and don't return, so there's a memorial to them. But then Gav is like, well, we'll be poor here, and if we take this risk, punch in numbers at random and zoom off, we could get rich and pay off our debts, or we'll die and not be remembered. So what's going to happen? They blast off into hyperspace after Jory punches in random numbers. Is this the Force at work? It certainly seems like the Force is at work to guide her to a safe route, but this is going to uncover, it's going to uncover the Sith, inevitably. But we'll get to that in later issues. So, blast off randomly into space, and that is where it ends. It ends really on a really high note, where you're getting really amped and excited for what direction the story is going to go. So it definitely it definitely ends on a really high note that gets you anticipating a very fun storyline. This comic series is better than I remembered, to be honest. It's already got me excited all over again. I didn't remember liking the Kevin J. Anderson prequel series as much as the original series by Tom Veitch. And so, yeah, this is super solid. Overall positives. So far, I like the characters. The twins, they're down on their luck. You want them to succeed. You don't want them to stay broke and struggling. You like Arba. He's a nice guy. And you really like Odin Some of the other characters like Teda and Mehmet Nadal are barely there, but Sis Kahora is very interesting instantly. He grabs your attention with his interesting antics in this specific comic issue. Great introduction to lots of new worlds, lots of new characters. Overall negatives, I do think the art style's a little bit messy in this series. The colors kind of blend together. But I really like the design of the ships. It really feels primitive and archaic. The technology, it's all like very intentionally dated looking, so it works really, really well for the story. So overall, I'd give this one a 5 of 10. It's a very solid comic issue. I really enjoy it. This is a great series. But what did you guys think of this comic issue? Did you like it? Do you think it's better than a 5 of 10? Do you think it's worse than a 5 of 10? Let me know how you felt of Tales of the Jedi, The Golden Age of Sith, issue number 1.